start by taking you back to a moment in my kitchen. I had just finished cooking dinner, and there was on my countertop a pile of vegetable scraps. Don't ask me what I was cooking, but as I moved to grab that pile of food scraps and throw it in the trash, I found myself oddly stuck. Should I throw this in the trash? What are my options here? Should I start a composting bin? Can I even start a composting bin in a small student apartment? What will I do with all that compost? The questions were endless, and I was hungry, so I just threw it in the trash. But the next few days, I found myself asking this question about all the products I interacted with as a consumer. And then it struck me, this is not just about food scraps. It's about how everything is designed around us. Because in our world, waste isn't just an accident. It's built in the system. And think about it. Everything that you purchase is designed to become waste. In fact, 99% of the things that we purchase are discarded within the first 6 months. So, what if we design things differently? That coffee cup probably is gone. That phone charger that broke too soon, it's probably already in the landfill. That fast fashion t-shirt that you bought, let's be honest, it's already unraveling. So, what if we started looking at waste not as an end of something, rather start looking at it as the beginning of something new? And here, I would like to introduce a concept that was first introduced to me by one of my favorite classes here, and that's taught by the wonderful Dr. Callie Babbitt, who also happens to be my research professor. Now, the concept is of industrial ecology. I know it might sound complicated, but the idea is quite simple, and it has changed how I think about things. Now, what does industrial ecology say? It says that, what if we started designing human systems the way nature works? And you must be wondering, why nature? Because think about it. There is no waste in nature. The leaves that fell down from the tree are going into the soil. The nutrients are again used back by the tree. Nature operates in loops, not lines. But us, we humans, have designed a system that's linear. We take, we use, and we toss. And perhaps that's why every year we generate 2.1 billion tons of waste. And to put that in perspective for you, that's enough waste to fill 800,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's a lot of waste. So, what if we start thinking about how we can change this process? Industrial ecology asks, what if our industries start working the way ecosystems do in nature? What if the waste from one industry fuels another? Because here's the thing, waste isn't just an environmental issue. It's a design problem, and that means we can solve it. Let's go back to my food scraps. Food waste might seem small, but it's actually a huge issue. Every year, we waste 1.3 billion tons of food. That's enough food to feed 8 billion people. But there's a much bigger problem than that. Food waste alone accounts for 8 to 10% global greenhouse gas emissions. That's way more bigger contributor to climate change than the entire aviation industry. So when Dr. Babbitt introduced me to this innovation in food waste that's called tabletop composters, I was intrigued These are household devices designed to turn your food scraps into compost. In our research, we are doing something called life cycle assessment of these devices. Think of life cycle assessment of products as accounting for the entire impact from making the product to finally discarding it. From extracting raw materials to making the parts of that product, to assembling it, to finally taking it to the user uses the product and discards it. Life cycle assessment accounts for impact across all these stages. In our research, we set out to answer two big questions. One, are these tabletop composters better? Are they the more sustainable choice as to food waste going into the landfill or the traditional composting methods? And two, what really comes out of these tabletop composters? Is it really compost? And is it really good for your plants? While we still are finishing up our research, here are some of our preliminary findings. One, yes, they do make household food waste more manageable, especially if you don't have space to start your own composting bin like I did. Two, sometimes these models can have a high runtime. They can run anywhere between 12 to 14 hours. And their electricity consumption may overshadow their environmental benefits. And three, some of these devices don't even produce material that can directly go into your garden. So you must be wondering, are tabletop composters good? Well, the answer is, it depends. Because like I said, we all interact with products differently. Today, technology is driving so much of our innovation. However, a product can be marketed as green, yet if you're not looking at the entire system, we might not be solving the problem at all. So that's why systems thinking is important. Now, you must be wondering, what does this all have to do with me? Well, here's the thing. As consumers, we have the power. Companies make what we demand. And if we start asking the right questions, we start pushing for better products. So the next time you're shopping, ask yourself this. What is this made of? And is it made of any toxic materials, or is it biodegradable? What happens to it when I'm done with it? Can I donate it, recycle it, or compost it? And finally, what company that I'm buying from? Does this company have a take-back program? Can I give these used materials back to the company? These are some of the questions that drives good choices. And small choices do add up. As a student of sustainability, I often get asked this question, what is the one thing that we can do to be more sustainable? Well, here's my answer. Sustainability isn't about being perfect. It's about rethinking how we design, how we use, how we throw our products. So the next time you're throwing something away, I want you to pause, take a moment, and ask yourself, is this really waste, or is it part of something bigger? Because when we start thinking in systems, when we start asking the right questions, we are not just reducing the waste, we are innovating our future. So today, I want you all to leave with this one exercise. For the next 24 hours, I want you to observe and be aware of what you throw away. Just notice how much of it is designed to become waste. And I want you to pick one thing from your daily routine It could be anything small. It might be your coffee cup, or the way you grocery shop, or your food scraps. It could be anything. Pick that one thing and ask yourself, can I replace it with something reusable? Can I extend its life? Can I avoid needing it in the first place? Because it doesn't have to be a big change, just one small shift. Because if today each one of us makes that one change, and then again tomorrow we make that same one change, it starts adding up, and we start moving towards a world that has less waste and is more sustainable. Thank you.